Back to the tutorial of how to make chocolate Easter eggs that are completely peanut and tree nut free. Last time we met, we were putting them in the refrigerator, the filling, to chill. You can chill it for 2 hours, which is what they recommend, but because of shooting this video, I needed to stagger it over 2 nap times, so I've chilled mine 24 hours and they look fine. All that I did was after a couple hours, I just stuck them in a big Ziploc bag so they wouldn't dry out. So you could do that if time is a factor. Now what we're going to do is we're going to melt our chocolate. Melting chocolate has always kind of scared me, and I've just recently mastered it. Every time I heard the terms melting chocolate, I heard double broiler, and it just scared me. I didn't have one, and I didn't know how to use one even if I got one. But then I discovered my trusty microwave can do the same thing. With a little bit of care and attention, you can melt chocolate in the microwave and not have to have a double broiler or any of those kind of things. And it doesn't have to be a scary thing. So what I have is 2 pounds of chocolate. You wouldn't probably have to use this much. I just want to make sure I have plenty of chocolate so that my eggs are completely covered. I have some trusty pretzels over here that I'm going to use the rest of the chocolate up with because I can't stand wasting things. So we're going to dump our chocolate into a microwave safe bowl. Now when you melt chocolate in the microwave, you have to be super careful. Don't get it too hot or it will burn. The trick is to do it on 50 power, 50% power, half power, whatever your microwave calls it. And you're going to want to do it in slow increments and stir in between. So I'm going to start out on a minute since I have such a large amount. If you're only doing half the recipe or don't want to do as much chocolate as I am, you might want to start out on a smaller increment. But 1 minute on 50 power. And I'm going to do that 1 minute for probably the first maybe 4 minutes, and then I'm going to bump it down to 30 seconds because once that starts melting, I don't want it to burn. So once I see those chocolate chips starting to get kind of mushy, I'm going to bump it down to 30 seconds. Okay, I've now done 3 minutes for each a 1 minute increment, and we're starting to be almost melted here. We've got a few chunky things that we're going to want to continue to melt. I'm going to bump it down to 30 seconds now, and I want this to get pretty warm so it's relatively liquidy. So we are pretty close to having this chocolate melted. If there's one thing I've learned from making these chocolate eggs, they're not easy. The chocolate portion is not an exact science, and I'm no expert. I'm just a mom that loves her son and wants him to have you know, a safe alternative to what all of his friends have. So, with that said, these eggs are not going to look perfect, but I don't think anyone will care. I think they're going to taste great. Now, you're going to take your cream cheese eggs that are still chilled, put them on a fork. This is the best way I've found to do this. Dip them down in the chocolate, kind of roll them around. You're going to want your chocolate to be pretty thin because if it's thick, you're going to take about ½ a pound of chocolate with each egg, which won't be real appetizing. Well, to some people it might be appetizing, and it will make you go through a lot of chocolate quickly. Okay, I'm breaking this on the edge so that my chocolate, I don't have too much, and then I'm going to gently put it on my baking sheet. You don't want to touch it very much because you're going to make some of the chocolate come off and then your filling's going to show. Okay. Now I've got several of these to do, and I won't do them all on camera. That would be kind of boring, I suppose. But I also want to talk about some of the decorations. The chocolate by themselves will be beautiful. If you're like me, it doesn't really matter what kind of chocolate it is. It's lovely. All by itself. I'll do one more of these just so you kind of get an idea. You're going to want to put these on parchment paper or wax paper probably Probably not Pam. You wouldn't want to put Pam on your pan because it might be a little difficult to get them up. And you're going to periodically probably want to stick this chocolate back in, because mine after 3 is starting to harden back up. So we can stick it back in the microwave. But let me show you some of the decorations that you can do that are completely safe and will really jazz up these eggs. One thing you can do is just some decorating sugar. This is the Walmart generic. I really like their brands. They label great for cross-contamination. I've got me some blue. I'm just going to sprinkle it all on there. Another thing that you can do, you know how they put chopped nuts on truffles and things like that, kind of for decoration? Why not just chopped up graham crackers or vanilla wafers? All I've done is I've taken a couple graham crackers, rolled my rolling pin across it. It's going to look just like nuts. Now, if you have a child that doesn't completely understand their allergy, you probably will want to explain to them what's on here. You might even want to explain to some family members that are around if they don't totally understand the allergy. So I've got that, and that looks like chopped nuts on top of it. Tyler's aware enough about his nut allergy, he will certainly know they're not nuts. Another thing you can do, powdered sugar. The other great thing about these decorations, if your chocolate isn't perfect like mine isn't, you'll cover it up. Take a little bit of powdered sugar. And just lightly put it on there. I don't know how light mine is. We'll catch back up once these have chilled and you can see what the finished products look like.